Hey everybody, so it's officially the last day of our Cayenne plant spirit journey. Honestly went really fast for me um, because of how loud this herb is. I really thought that the month would kind of feel a little more intense, a little more, uh, just bigger. But it really just went by very, very quickly for me, and all of my sits with Cayenne were super cool. So I wanted to just share a couple things with you about my experience over the past month and really extend an invitation for you to share anything that came up for you, anything you learned, any ways that you connected with Cayenne at all that you find notable down in the comments below. So the first thing for me was working on my relationship with stimulating herbs. We know that Cayenne is not stimulating in the same way as like caffeine or stimulant pharmaceuticals, but there's definitely this excitatory, simmering energy with these really hot rubefacient herbs like Cayenne. And I generally stray away from herbs like that unless I'm sick because I find discomfort in that. So Cayenne for me this month was really like settling into the intensity of heat and the intensity of the tongue burn and feeling my face and my hands and my chest flush as everything moved around. And what was really uncomfortable at the beginning of the month has actually become really comforting to me now. So this sit has, just sort of helped me make better friends with stimulant feelings, which I appreciate because sometimes those are the right allies for the job. And it's nice when you can find comfort in it. The other big one for me has been the sort of decongestant energy of Cayenne, sort of pushing through cold, frozen, stagnant, boggy blockages, finding those places where things have frozen. They've gotten into stuck patterns and warming them up. Anytime we introduce heat into any body fluids, those fluids thin and lighten, right? And we also see that in our life path, that when we bring these fiery, hot, aromatic herbs into our life, that they'll find places where things have gotten too coagulated, too dense, too muddy, and they'll thin them and lighten them so they can flow again. And I think that was really the big work for me this month, was just identifying the places where, and I didn't put this together until like maybe the last 7 to 10 days, the last third of our journey, that all these places where I had frozen into either inaction, sort of a fear freeze, or frozen into a pattern that is comforting because we know the pattern, but is not really the pattern we want to keep doing. Lots of cold language, which makes sense because it's so warming, but freezing in place, freezing into patterns, kind of burying myself into some beliefs or some perspectives that really were not the whole of what's possible. Cayenne really came through, loosening, warming, thinning, allowing movement in these places where I thought I was being very open-minded and very open to what the possibilities were and what form the next step could take. I was not. So, Cayenne really came in and showed me these perspectives, kindled a fire, right? A fiery hot bonfire to shed some light on some things and to warm some things and to create some movement in things. So that was really my big sit. I've been working for a while on making friends with spicy food. It's fine in my digestion and everything. It's the tongue burn, the intensity kind of up in my head that's hard for me when food is really, really spicy. So I haven't worked with big doses of cayenne this month. Really, 3 drops of the tincture, and that's like well diluted, cut with glycerin. But I did find that I found a lot of really creative ways to bring cayenne into my cooking this month. So we just made a really good French lentil soup last week, and was like, I'm gonna like spice this up, and threw maybe a half teaspoon of cayenne powder into the stock pot. And I really think food with this particular herb is such a great way to work with that energy, that slow burn, making sure we're moving our blood around, we're staying warm, we're nourishing that internal fire. So yeah, lots of really cool experiences over the month, but I wanted to share the ones that really just stuck out with me today as we wrap up our journey and settle in. And I'm looking forward to sitting with pine next and astragalus after that. So for folks who went on this journey in any capacity, whether you did a few days here and there or you sat every single day all month long, I really would love to hear from you. And of course, all my gratitude for being part of this collective experience. I think the more of us that do this, the more that it really we really invoke the spirit of Cayenne to come in and warm us up a little bit. So hopefully you had a good journey. Share some stuff with me down below, and I will see you next time.